In a world wrought with struggle and strife, a world rich with beauty and grandeur, a world where peril lies around every corner, a world of casting and pony. One group steps up to share the perspective of the masses in this, the World of Warcraft. We are Pwnecast, the voice of the players.
You have crossed into the world of the dead in search of answers.
Welcome back. You are listening and/or watching Pwnecast. This is episode 63, and we are in patch 6.2. I am your Warlock host, Belle. Sadly, we are without Frieza again this week. He was having a rowdy party with his family for 4th of July, so he's not here. And Bloke, we don't really know what happened to Bloke. So maybe he's asleep, maybe he's drunk fighting a kangaroo. We don't really know what happened to him, but
he probably hit his head walking to the door.
I did bring the rest of the Riders of Rohan with me. I did bring the Death Knight who can turn his eyelids inside out Lycan.
Hey, yes, I was trying to impress Belle with my disgusting eyelid tricks.
It wasn't impressing.
But I'll spare the viewing community of the debauchery that I can do with my eyelids.
It wasn't impressing. It was disgusting. Just so we're clear about that. I did also bring the Boomkin who is stunned. Wait, no, he is everything. That's for shots.
Oh, yeah. That happened during RPGs. I saved the flag, I ran, and then everything. Cyclone, hexed, rooted, everything. Then I was like, I'm
he
everything.
Literally said, I'm stunned. No, I'm everything.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was interesting.
We were like, okay. I did also bring the Paladin who has to keep filling in for our fallen podcasters, Dark.
Yeah, it kind of makes me feel important. But then next week when people get back,
you're back.
I realize I'm the casual podcaster.
You're back to bottom
guy.
bitch. Well, you're
Yes.
bottom. You're my bottom bitch, so I guess that's okay.
Learn to bubble and res.
It's going to be an interesting show because we're recording way later than normal. We're actually recording after RBGs. I've had some beers and we had a rough RBG night. It's been interesting opening season, but let's get right into the news. So some shipyard changes have happened. They have increased the number of ships per level of garrison. So for tiers 1, 2, and 3, you can have 6, 8, or 10 active ships for those tiers, which pretty cool. I don't know if you're like me and you rage because your ship gets destroyed because part of your mission will succeed and the other half of the ship will just explode into the middle of the Bering Sea or whatever. The Great South Shore? I don't freaking know. It's just water. I'm drowning here. Is anybody gonna help me? No.
Yeah.
Okay, no anchor. Got it. Can't count on these guys to save me.
If you're drowning, you don't want to anchor. I just want to note that.
Probably not a good idea.
So that's a good thing happening with the shipyards. And in addition to that change, they also, the garrison naval missions, their speed time has been, or their mission time has been reduced. I'm sure a lot of you have seen that sometimes it takes 2 freaking days for your ships to get back. I don't know what happens out to sea. Once again, I don't know what goes on out there. So they did speed those up. I'm assuming a lot of people probably complained about it, so they scaled that back a little bit. So that's pretty exciting for that. The Champion Strong Box. Some changes. We're making some changes. Let me try that again. We're making some items obtainable exclusively from the Champion Strong Boxes, and there are only 2 ways to get them. The first way you can earn the Champion Strong Box is by winning 3 rated battlegrounds in a week. So 3 in a week. Before patch 6.2, you had a chance to win an item for each of your first 3 wins, but in patch 6.2, you're guaranteed to get an item after your 3rd win each week. I seem to have lost the second part. I don't know what happened. But I don't know anything about these strong boxes because I don't think I've ever actually gotten one. So.
We were supposed to get them this week.
But we didn't.
It's bugged. It's bugged everyone.
So is it the recommendation to submit a ticket to say, hey, by the way?
I think they know by now.
No, actually, I think one of the responses on the forums was that they are not going to retroactive replace them.
They're not going to?
No.
They would have to dig through the logs and find every single person that won 3 battlegrounds, and that would just
That
be
takes 5 seconds to run a script, really. I mean, I'm a programmer. It's not that complicated. I don't understand Blizzard, but I mean...
Well, it's also the first week. You don't want everyone geared. You're going into your third week.
Agreed. I agree with that statement. That's pretty accurate. Big, huge news. So Ian had an interview with some random non-American. Don't really know his name. I've never really heard of him, but apparently he's kind of a big deal. So big of a deal that he's interviewing developers. From the parts that I could understand of the video, because not a lot of English was happening in this video, but I did understand Ian's part of the video. He did state that when they're going through things and the developers, when they're working on future patches, sometimes they decide that the final boss isn't really going to be the final boss. So we had thought that Grom was going to be the final boss that was announced probably 3 weeks after the expansion hit. It was a big, huge thing where one of the developers had said that. They basically just said the direction that things are going in, that's not something that they're interested in. Now, because I know the spoiler of what happens, the final boss in Hellfire, it is making a lot of sense. So to those of you who have actually been through that cinematic, you're going to start to understand kind of a possibility of the way things are going, and they did leave it a huge cliffhanger. So if you have not been through Hellfire Citadel and seen that ending cinematic, you should do so promptly. With that, Corey Stockton also had an interview with, yet again, 2 people that barely spoke English and were not American and don't know who they are, but I'm assuming that these guys are probably EU people and they're probably pretty big, and I don't know them because I'm not in the EU, but they're big enough to where they're interviewing developers as well. They were funny guys. The 2 guys were pretty funny. And so big upset with this news that he gave. There's not going to be another raid in this expansion, which has never happened before, to my understanding, right? We've always had... Is this the only time we've only had 2 tiers? Yeah, so... Here's the thing. I feel like I want to be angry about that because I feel like we're getting shortchanged. However, I feel like Blizzard doesn't usually just do random things, so I feel like it's leading to something bigger. And... once again, given the ending cinematic, which we can't talk about because we don't want to give spoilers away, it is making sense if what we've talked about in our theory crafting over the last couple months about where this is going once we actually leave Draenor and step somewhere else, it makes a lot of sense that they would, you would think they would have at least one more raid, but I think they want to get another expansion. They said they're going to have a small patch, which is going to be 6.2x, which is where they're going to have the flying, but that's pretty much going to be it for the major part of the content. Now, here's the thing. Here's where I was frustrated because everybody went on and they were all pissed off. We're not going to have another raid. They're all pissed off. We're not going to have this. Here's the thing. You motherfuckers have been bitching about Warlords of Draenor since the day it came out and how bad it sucks. Why do you care? Why are you bitching about it? Let them build a better expansion. Stop crying about it. Seriously, it's the same set of people and even large members of the community who I will not name have been complaining about, oh, we only get 2 tiers. We only get 2 tiers. You guys were just bitching about how lackluster this expansion has been with no content, and you don't even want to play it, and half of you guys have unsubbed. Okay, so Blizzard made a decision to say we're not going to put any more into an expansion that everybody hates. We're going to put our resources towards making it better. I'm hoping, of course, that's my assumption. That's what
they learned from Mop. They drug that out, 4 years?
They really did, and that was his... He was very, very adamant about stating that in this interview.
Okay, it felt like 4 years.
He did say one of our pains we realized was in Mists of Pandaria. You guys killed Garrosh about 1,000 times because there's nothing left to do. So I feel like they're trying to balance it a little bit. So Hellfire is going to be the last raid. Farallon, is that an accurate? Farallon is a new zone introduced at BlizzCon, will not be introduced into the game. It did not fit into the game. So, and he had talked about that there was a lot of things that were talked about at BlizzCon, and even through several developer Q&As that they had talked about bringing, they just decided it wasn't going to happen. It's not going to be a thing. They either couldn't make it fit, whatever the case may be. Double Warforged items being introduced into Mythic Dungeons. Who doesn't love double? Double's better for everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and that's,
unless it's double parking tickets, but...
Well, supposedly the people that are doing the end game content that were doing Mythic are saying, well, this really has no room for any gear that I need whatsoever. So they're offering that chance for it to be just a little bit stronger for these people to do it.
Yeah, but I mean, there's people that aren't doing. They're not in progression raids. So my assumption was that that's what the Mythic Dungeons were for. For those people that don't have a 20-man that they're raiding with every week, that they can just go in there with a 5-man team and kill shit, and hopefully they don't die.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Now we got a double Warforged stuff. I mean, I'm not going to bitch about it if I get a double Warforged item, yes, but I don't know. I feel like they're going a little crazy with the gear. It's getting extremely easy to get gear, which is a great thing. Don't get me wrong, that's not a complaint. But I mean, what are we doing here? What are we doing here when you're just handing out gear to all the trick-or-treaters? It doesn't make any sense to me. You're not forcing people to play through and actually work for it. I get it. It's all wonderful. The baleful stuff in Tanan's amazing. Kill rares, get things. Everybody's happy.
They were calling it the Blizzard welfare in trade chat.
That's what it is.
This is Blizzard's problem. Every expansion, they introduce a catch-up mechanic. They've never found a catch-up mechanic they like. But with WoD, they introduced the catch-up mechanic at the start.
Agreed.
Right.
So, and with going back to there's no new expansion thing, what hurts me is if they don't come out with another expansion, because they'll announce it at BlizzCon, and then it should come out, 3 to 6 months later?
Right.
That's a year that we have to wait for another expansion. So they just repeated SOO.
Right, and that's my fear is how many times are we going ever to fight Archimon? As much as I like Archimon in lore and think that he's a badass boss, I've heard nightmare stories just on Heroic. But now we're going to go 6 more months, again, fighting the same boss.
Your assumption is that it's going to be time after BlizzCon. However, here's what I do know about Blizzard. They're tricky motherfuckers. And Blizzard is about their money. I'm 100% positive that the new expansion is going to be announced, and that shit's going to be directly after BlizzCon. I'm 100% positive.
I really hope so. Because that...
It might be wishful thinking. I agree with you there. That I can't repeat another year long in the same bullshit. I can't.
Yeah.
Well, and with the 2-tier sets, if they had gone longer, by the time the next expansion comes, they're gonna have to stat squish again if they kept going.
That's valid, actually.
Because we're at what? Most of us are at 500K
By the time we're done
already.
with the next 3 expansions, we're gonna have like a frickin' 1,000 item level. They're really gonna have to scale back. But I'm hoping that Blizzard, please don't let me down. If you have no intention on releasing an expansion directly after BlizzCon, we might have to get a divorce.
And time again, we've always said though, when they're not ready to put out an expansion,
They won't. But I really I think that that's the direction they took. I think that these guys sat down and said, listen, we pissed everybody off. Everybody was disappointed with Warlords. I was not. I don't understand why everybody's bitching. I enjoy the game. I enjoy the content. I enjoy the garrisons. I don't feel very strongly like a lot of the community does about certain aspects of it because I play to hang out with my people. I don't really care. I have a good time and it's fun for me. And, I'm obviously not everybody's like me, but I don't have any large complaints. I mean, I have a few complaints, but I don't have any major ones that make me get so mad that I'm going to unsub. So here's hoping that Blizzard really has their shit together and that's what they're doing. Maybe they pulled all their guys off doing anything future-wise, and now they're just going to go head full force with the expansion because they got a lot of things going on with Overwatch. I mean, they're taking over the world one game at a time.
Them planning so far ahead, you said what they have plans
every time
for 3?
every time they release an expansion, they're already developing the next expansion because they always go hand in hand storyline wise. So, and usually they already know the 3rd expansion when they're in, if they were in WOD, they already know 2 expansions out kind of. Right. And this is a guesstimate for them. They know the major chunk of where they want to take things as far as what's going to happen in Azeroth.
I think what a majority though of the players are really complaining about is that, and this is my only complaint with Warlords really, is that there's no meat to the expansion. I mean, we got a lot of. I mean, we were brought back
just
to
vegetables.
Right, we were brought back
twig and
to
berries, maybe.
Epic spots. Right, we're looking at the beginning of it all, and they let us down.
Are you saying there's no twig and berries?
No.
No. Okay.
Like Feralion, that is the ogre capital.
Right.
There were
I remember them
they
talking about that at
into
BlizzCon. Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, and that was a lot of people's
But
lore-wise were looking forward to
we
going into.
don't
Now
know. We don't know where that's going to lead us in the future. Just because, here's the thing. Here's why. What is that bullshit they told us about the Titan project being squashed? And then what happens? They announce Overwatch. Really? It was squashed, except what you really mean is that was Overwatch and you just renamed it. I don't believe that they have no intention on using that information because they went pretty in depth at BlizzCon last year about that map specifically. I think that it's for a different purpose. I really feel like something big is in the wind. Maybe that's just me getting high hopes because of my love for Blizzard.
You want to know what I think happened? In all honesty, because Titan wasn't supposed to be Overwatch. It was it's supposed to be an MMO.
That's what they say, but do you believe anything Blizzard says? They all lie because they're businessmen.
I would hope so. I pay them $50
They're
a month.
businessmen. They're all about. They did that for press.
I think what happened was they were sitting around the drawing board and they were like, they're spitting out all these ideas and they're like, all right, well then a few months later, someone's like, oh shit, I should have done this, and they're like, oh my god, that is brilliant, and then now they're trying to backpedal with it, and now they're going to, whenever they release a new expansion, we're gonna have everything that we were looking for and want. I hope.
Let me tell you why I'm gonna call bullshit about the Titan thing. So, they made this big, huge press release, press conference, and everything. We're scrapping Titan. Nobody even fucking knew what Titan was. They had said Titan maybe twice the previous year. Nobody had any idea what Titan was, and you made a giant, big, huge deal over something nobody even knew anything about. That's smart business on Blizzard's part because there was so much controversy. People were angry that Titan was scrapped and they don't even know what it was. It could have been you fucking playing Farmville and you have no idea what you're angry about. I really think that was a marketing move. I think whoever is in charge of their marketing is smart individuals. I don't think Titan was ever a thing. I think Titan ended up being Overwatch and they used that to drum up press. Bad press is great press. If somebody's using the word Blizzard, they're trending on Facebook, they're trending on Twitter, people are Googling, people are happy, they're checking out Heroes. I mean, this directly related to their second beta release of Heroes of the Storm. I mean, really, it's one of those things where you have to know that Blizzard isn't always honest about shit. They're about their money. So I stick by that Titan was Overwatch. I really do. On that basis alone, and I might be completely wrong, but I mean, it's pretty blatant. Maybe no, yeah, maybe I don't know.
Maybe.
But either way, I think I am hoping that Blizzard really does the right thing with the future expansions. I'm not really one to say I need an expansion one right after another. If there's patches being produced, more raids, content, but I agree with you guys there. If you're telling me there's no more raiding, and I'm going to be stuck in Ashran and stuck killing the same bosses until you guys decide you're going to release the second one. I don't think Blizzard's that stupid. I cannot believe that Blizzard would allow another expansion to not be released in a timely fashion. That's why I think it's going to be announced at BlizzCon and then.
And since that whole big subscriber drop, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't chance.
Yeah, they're going to really
That's
tread
what
lightly.
That's what I was about to say. Is me and my friends have talked about it. There's no other MMO that's gonna kill WoW. Never.
And they need a big.
WoW is going to
Every
end up-
BlizzCon we have a giant. I'm sorry, I had a dumb moment right now. I literally in the middle of
Tree.
There's always a big announcement. There's always the next big thing. They've already announced Overwatch. Here's the Storm's already live. Really, what is there for them to announce at the end of the day? They always do. They're famous for there's an announcement of something. Obviously, they're going to focus pretty heavily on Overwatch because it should be in its first set of alpha by then. So, obviously, they're going to focus on that, but I'm pretty sure that it's going to be a WoW expansion. If not, we're going to riot and burn that bitch down. That's how that shit's going to work out. If there's no expansion.
And that's my fear, is that he and Hotz said it. It's not any other company that's going to do it. It's WoW that's going to make WoW lose. And if they don't do something...
And then we're going to have to walk away from what we love because it's really, at this point, it's pumping money into something that's we're not getting anything back for at the end of the day. But right. I hold out high hopes, so we'll hopefully we'll see what's going on. The Apexis bonus event is going on now until the 6th. This, you get, you should have already seen a little icon above on your little buff bar. It's increased drops. You can complete the time to strike, which is five Apexis objectives. You say that 10 times fast. To earn to earn 5,000, 1,000, and 1,500 Apexis crystals. They're really giving that shit away for free. No one's going to want to buy the cow, Blizzard, if you keep giving it away for free. So here's some of the things that you can get with Apexis crystals. Obviously, everybody knows that you can get the lovely gear at those the Arcoa people by the vendors. Well, I don't know. They're birds. They're just giant birds that quack every time you click on there.
That was an epic. Oh, wow. That was awesome.
They do.
I can't wait to see the little highlight.
Was that not an accurate description of what they do? That's what they say every time you click on them to try to buy some shit from them.
You know how they highlight, and they had the one where that was like, ching. Now
I'm trying to learn to do voices so that I can be more entertaining to people. Some of the things that you could buy. What?
I was going to say, I am messaging Perk now to make sure he watches this and gets that one. Go ahead.
This is what happens when you mix me with alcohol. And the alcohol is obviously worn off already, but it's already loosened up the mind and the body, so there's no going back from that. So here's some of the things that you can buy with the Apexis crystals outside of your gear. You can buy 6 pets, which does include the Blazing Firehawk, which that's the new one. Did you know about that, Lycan?
Yes.
Of course you did. Bye, Felicia. That's 2,000 Apexis. Obviously, you can buy your Seals of Inevitable Fate, which is actually how I buy mine. I buy the seals with my Apexis because, in truth, I don't use my Apexis for anything else, and I have like 30,000. So sometimes I'll split it up amongst gold, but for the most part, it's those. And 6 mounts you can buy with these Apexis. One includes the Corrupted Dreadwing that was actually added. It was added this patch, which it's it's 150,000 Apexis crystals.
It's pretty.
Well, I liked that little thing that you sit in. What is that? Is it it's not a boar. Maybe it's a dinosaur.
Oh, the hippo thing?
Mm-hmm.
The river beast.
Yeah, the river beast. Those are kind of cool because you get to sit in like a little cage and you get to feel like a pharaoh of Egypt kind of for 5 minutes, but the animations.
Egypt?
A pharaoh, a pharaoh.
Oh, pharaoh. I thought you said pharaoh.
Not
I was
pharaoh.
They had pharaohs back then?
Maybe they did. I mean, the cats, Egyptian people were really creeped out by cats. They believe that they held spirits in them. Anyway, totally not gaming related, but if you ever need some useless trivia, I have lots of useless trivia because I'm a nerd and watch National Geographic. Moving on. You can get the Baleful tokens for 5,000 Apexis and 10,000 for the weapons, which will create eye level 650 or eye level 675 gear, which Lycan was doing that shit all week, talking about the Baleful stuff. So that's pretty neat. You can upgrade your Baleful items to 695 as well with the Empowered Apexis Fragment. That is 20,000 Apexis crystals. You can transmog items like the Golden Visage, the Laughing Skull. For those of you who don't know, the Visage is French for face. I just wanted you to know that I also know what that means. It is Visage, face. Anyway, vanity items like Rookmar's Sacred Memory for 50. I don't know what it does that it's worth 50,000 Apexis crystals. And I'm sure you would know.
I actually have not looked into that one.
Yeah, I don't.
What?
I don't. Maybe if somebody wants to buy Belle's Sacred Memory for 50,000, we can play. Let's make a deal.
I give you 350.
It's not about 350. This is why we're not professional whatsoever.
Right.
You can also get the 6.2 followers Solar Priest Vax, who comes with the unique Apexis Attunation ability. I haven't worked much with my followers. I got Garona this morning. Hots was privy to that very frustrating bullshit where you have to be stealth with Garona, and
Oh yeah.
it probably took me about an hour and a half. He was making fun of me. It was terrible.
I got the popcorn out, the chair, and
For those of you who are, that was because once you get to 715, then you move on to your next set of stuff, and it does take you to Talador. First, you have to try to free Garona, and then there's a fight with Gul'dan, and some shit goes down. I'm not going to talk about the other stuff. The cutscene was badass, is all I'm going to say about that. I was literally plot twist. So if you haven't been through that after your 715, that's one of the ways that you are able to gain Garona as a follower, is by actually completing stuff in the legendary quest line. So you have to be super stealth, and I'm a human. I'm not stealthy. I'm a warlock human even. I make all kinds of soul-stealing noise when I'm clunking down the road. So it did take me quite a bit. You just have to finesse and, you
Wanna
know.
do something fun? Take Aviana's feather and try using it halfway through the middle of that thing.
No, I don't
Does it
want
work?
No.
No, it does not work.
Oh.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that.
Khadgar actually rips you out of it and go, "What the hell were you thinking?"
Yeah, he yelled at me quite a few times, and then Garona yelled at me and was like, "You're not good." Well, I'm sorry. I mean,
When
you
you
even-
NPCs telling you
she
you're not
she
good.
said we can do better. You need more training. You're terrible. Well, I mean, thank you for helping my self-esteem. I'm just gonna go into the next room now.
Is it bad when the NPCs are calling you a casual?
I know, and Dark wouldn't know anything about that because he doesn't do anything in game except for PvP.
I haven't even been to Tanan.
Yeah, he doesn't know anything about life. He's just a PvPer. He doesn't do anything fun except for
That's why
killing.
you're a fill-in for the fill-in.
Right. So make sure you guys get on that Apexis event because you are getting, I think it's double the drop, right? For
Yeah.
Apexis? Double? Might as well take advantage of that. I mean, that sounds fun to me.
I may or may not have noticed that buff while I was running the flag, and I was like, what is this? Mousing over, completely forgot about the RPG.
I did that yesterday.
The Apexis, though, I did try something out the other day. So when you use the Baleful, you're actually turning them into a 650 item or a 675. So I got the idea, what happens with the 675 items when you upgrade them with the 20,000 Apexi crystal things? Nothing. They only turned to 695. I was quite disappointed.
Oh, that's stupid.
I was thinking I got like
695?
Yeah.
That's still not bad.
Well, no, the 650 go to 695, but even if you upgrade to 675, it still only goes to 695.
So let's talk about, before I have a little thing to talk about for Bell's Bites, but I wanted to talk about the gear situation, and we were talking about that earlier, and Dark, you had said that in trade chat they are calling a lot of the gear that's easily obtainable the welfare gear.
Blizzard welfare.
Which is kind of messed up. And, we had talked about it even before all the changes to the gear, and they were coming out with all these different ways that you could get gear. And I was like, this is pretty cool. People are going to be able to gear that wouldn't normally have access to that. But then the more I think about it, here's where my frustration happens. We're currently in progression. We're not progressing a ton, but, we're in progression. We've downed, what are we, 4 bosses in?
4 bosses in.
So, and we move at a snail's pace. We only raid 4 hours a week. We're super casual and we're adding a 3rd night. Anyway, going through Hellfire and seeing that it's, what is it, 690 for normal?
Yes.
LFR 685. Nobody had to work for shit. Everything we went through, killing all of the bosses in Highmall and all of the bosses in Blackrock Foundry, literally the gear useless because everybody who wasn't doing anything except standing around in their garrison is in LFR getting gear. Now you guys know me, I'm not an elitist, nor do I have an elitist viewpoint. I have a everybody should play and we should all have fun and kill shit together. But I understand now a lot of the frustrations with some of the more hardcore players where they really, really bust their ass to get good gear and then Blizzard gives it away the next patch. They're just giving shit. Literally like trick-or-treating. You knock on the door and say trick-or-treat and you get gear. I think it's good for those that don't have the time, so I'm not knocking that, so if anybody gets offended. But where do we draw the line at? Where's the line where we stop giving shit away for free because people have outside issues that are causing them to be able to not get the gear? Where's the line that we draw as gamers and as people to say, maybe I'm sick of you guys always giving away gear? Because as we're going through Hellfire, in my mind, next raid after in the new expansion, all that's going to be useless. And we're just going to give crap away to people who weren't doing work.
Not only that normal is 690, you said?
Mm-hmm.
All the Apexi gear, 695.
Yeah,
it's even higher than the raid tier.
And I think it's awesome for people that really need to gear. What? Did you say welcome to my life?
Yeah.
And I really do. I think it's a great thing for people that maybe you don't have a raid team. All these things, I totally get it. But where's the line that we draw? Where's the balance, Blizzard? Where's the balance between you coming in and giving everything away?
This is where Blizzard needs to... They did this in Wrath, and everyone hated it. And their catch-up mechanic was they used Justice Points, which are no longer in the game, to buy gear, and you could go straight from dungeons into ICC, which was the last raid.
You're right.
Everyone was pissed about it, but it was a decent catch-up mechanic because ICC gear was better. by a good bit. But what they need to do is they need to start catering more to the hardcore people
Agreed.
and have content that only they see.
Agreed
If
with that.
only 10%, I'm not talking like 10% of the population should only see it. Like the elitists see it and they get rewards. If the more, and I'm gonna say my famous word, casual players want to get the same thing, they need to grind their ass off. Not just, oh, I'm gonna wait till I get in a garrison mission. 3 months for something. Like, then I'm like, okay, you earned that because I got mine like the first week, you have it 3 months later, but you spent 3 months working for that one thing.
Agreed. And you know, on that, I understand that with each tier, as we progress through, you know, you're always going to be replacing gear. If you're progressing and you're rating and you're doing those things, excuse me, if you're doing those things, you're always going to have to replace your gear. My issue is those that don't, it's literally being dropped from the heavens in various avenues in World of Warcraft. You're getting it everywhere. They're just literally throwing it at you, and I feel like there's no balance. And that's actually not a bad, it's not a bad pitch, Hots, to have, say, okay, if you completed all these head of the curve achievements, then you get some special shit. You get to go in, maybe you get a special event. They're doing all these time walking and all this other stuff. Maybe if you have these certain achievements, you can go in and get higher item level stuff.
Well, introduce vendors to where
I agreed.
I can
like they have for PvP. You do have the elite PvP vendors. I think that I agree with that statement.
Like, you said something too that it was interesting. The ahead of the curve achievements. You know, when you did ahead of a curve in Siege of Orgrimmar, you got a fancy new mount.
You sure did. You got something that said, "Listen, motherfuckers, I'm a badass and I killed Garrosh." That's what you got.
All you get this time is an achievement. I don't think there's a mount or a title even for cutting. Yeah, even for cutting edge.
There's a title.
There's a title.
Yeah, you get a title.
But you know, okay, it's a title, but the mount was cool.
Something vanity that you get to show off, yeah. Because at the end of the day, people that, and this is not a blanket statement, so those of you that are about to be offended because you need a reason to be offended, the more hardcore raiders, they do it for that reason. They want the notoriety. They want the numbers. They want to know that they're server 13 boomkin or number 2 boomkin or their guild second and server first or...
Whenever I was server first druid and I didn't, or to hit 100 and I didn't get an achievement, and this is the first expansion they did that, I was actually quite upset.
Because it's something, it's a personal thing that you want people to know. Obviously you do things because you want to be acknowledged by people. You want somebody to be like, oh, hey, I know this dude. He totally killed all this shit and is amazing. And you're like, yep, that's me. I mean, I get it. I get why people, and that's why I said this isn't an insult to those that are more hardcore, and I'm not saying you're attention whores or anything like that. I'm just saying that's your number one reason for doing it isn't personal. It's because you want to be the best and you want everybody else to know you're the best. And I think something distinguishing for those that are the best would be nice. I agree with that. I think there should be something that's more distinguishing than a title. Everybody has titles. Does anybody even look at anybody's title anymore? I don't.
I get confused which one's their damn name.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
The mount part for the head of the curve thing I think is cool, especially since this expansion is going to be so short. It's going to be one of those things where you can't get anymore.
Mm-hmm. Agree with that.
And like, oh yeah, I got this last expansion. Boom. Oh, where'd you get that? Oh, you can't get it anymore. Like that's cool to say. So go ahead.
2 of the most badass flying mounts I've ever seen are the Black Proto Drake and the Plague Proto Drake. They were taken out as soon as the next raid hit.
And I agree with that. I
think
think that's
achievements away from getting the black one and gone.
And I bet you're kicking yourself in the ass for it every day.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was like 16, but I was pissed.
Blizzard really should focus more on 2 aspects of their game that are what keep people coming back, which is raids and PvP. Really focusing on it and not just catering to one side of the coin. If you're going to make that step to where you're going to cater to people that are QQing on forums, then cater to everybody. Make it balanced. Separate your really, really hardcore people from your people who are just trying to enjoy their time. Maybe they're not that serious. I'm one of those people. There's certain aspects of WoW I'm really gung-ho with, and there's certain aspects I just want to stand around in my garrison and barbecue chicken. Like, I don't want to be that serious sometimes. So I think, man, they really do need to do something.
They did in a way, they did introduce challenge modes, which have, if you get gold in all of them, you do get a reward. And yeah, it looks amazing, but this season for them, it's only one thing, and it's a weapon.
Right.
So,
And who all ran those? The
uh,
Mythic Raiders and all that shit?
no, there's a
Like,
lot of people who get it. PvPers even get it. Trying to think of his name. The hit him with the flex dude. Warrior.
Vajira?
Yeah. He got it. And it's a revenue for money for people too. Especially since gold's so easy now, is people sell carries. Me and my guild plan on doing that, or me and a group of friends plan on doing that at the start of the expansion, but we just kind of like dispersed and, but that's just one aspect. As soon as you get it, you're done.
I do think
That's the entire expansion.
I do think something needs to change where Blizzard needs to give the notoriety to those that are looking for it. I mean, PvP already has the notoriety because you can go to the leaderboards every day and see who's on top. And, the streamers are on top and all that stuff's great. And yeah, you got your top raiders, but the majority of your top raiders are not in America. So you have one side of the world owning. The EU is just beastly. They're beastly no matter what they do. They literally come in and wreck face and they're like, nice to see you. Have a good day. I got to go back and drink my tea. Like, seriously, they are, like, super disciplined. I don't have that in me. I've seen some of these guys, too, on interviews, and I'm like, literally, the one guy looks like he could, like, squish my head with just, I mean, they're not little tiny guys. Like, a lot of these guys are big, huge, like, Bajira types, and I literally just pictured him just, like, grabbing my head and squishing it. So I
think he's short, actually.
Bajira?
Yeah.
He's really muscular, though.
No, I know, but it's easy for a short dude to get muscular. I mean,
I didn't realize he was so muscular because of the beard. Like, all you see is beard. You don't really pay attention to anything else.
Yeah.
There's muscular, and then there's the Zira. Like, he's not
Right?
just your average, like, oh, I got some guns. Like, this dude's like this. It's ridiculous.
Like, and Jen's really tiny, so that confuses me. I'm not really sure how the mechanics of it are a little bit. I need to ask that on his stream one day and see if he'll explain.
where he wants.
I just need to know if he can maybe draw me a picture, maybe a map. I don't know, but I'm interested as to what happens in that scenario.
Even with these EU guilds, though, you got to understand that is
that's right.
Totally different.
What did What did you say? You said Paragons. Paragons
10 of 13. Not everybody's getting tied up.
And Paragons is in the lead now, right?
Yeah.
Is that accurate?
Tyrant Valhari on Mythic, only one obviously has won. It's at 0.01% of all the raid teams in the world have been were able to down it. So I mean, there's a lot of people going for it, but Tyrant Valhari is like the hardest. So yeah, they're 10 of 13, and I think the top US is of course Midwinter. They're number 3.
Midwinter's awesome though. They really are. It's a shame to see Method's not involved in any of that. I think we talked about that last time. It's kind of sad. So for Bell's Bites, huge. If Frieza would have been on the show tonight, one of the things he would have talked about would have been his complaints about Ashran. He doesn't need to be on the show for me to know that he would complain about Ashran. Huge topic on the forums regarding RNG in your best in slot gear in Ashran. So last season, we would spend 90% of our time in battlegrounds and arenas and 5% in Ashran, and the other 5% standing in our garrison. That's how we geared, using our Sanctum. So now, this expansion, or this patch, you're basically forcing everybody into Ashran because Battlegrounds is not a way to gear anymore. I literally did 20 in a row and didn't win shit because Alliance can't get their shit together long enough for me to win something. So, and really, when we go in with our 5-mans, and as long as half of us are running that Battleground, we're going to win it anyway. But when I try to go solo, it's not as easy. So here's what I did. I went to Ashran. I spent 6 hours in Ashran. I was fully honor geared. My complaint isn't about Ashran because I myself personally enjoy Ashran. I don't have an issue with it. It's fun for me. I enjoy the way that they have it set up. I don't have an issue. Once again, I'm not your glad status PvPer, so I'm assuming that's why it doesn't bother me. But the community is very upset regarding the RNG in Ashran because you're told you have to go to Ashran to get your best in slot. So these guys are going to their Ashran to get their best in slot. They're not getting any gear. You're not getting your gear. There's no guarantee. Now, I myself did get a pretty swanky piece from an Epic Strongbox. But the majority of the community, they're kind of getting the shaft. There's no gear dropping. They're getting the all wonderful and inclusive aspirant gear, because that gear is fucking amazing. So this gentleman wrote a very lovely post on the forums and talked about maybe if the community bands together and we talk about how awful RNG is for PvP. I understand. I understand how everybody feels about it, and I understand that these PvPers go into the situation entitled because they're used to being able to do all their weekly things to get their gear and go the fuck on. Here's what I know. I'm sorry it's not that easy for you to be fully conquest geared in a couple weeks. I'm sorry that you actually have to work for your gear. I'm sorry that you're having a hard time not having it handed to you, and I'm sorry that you have to do something besides arenas to be able to get gear. Really, at the end of the day, I understand why Blizzard's doing what they're doing. Do I think it's cool that they force people into Ashran? No, that's not what I'm saying. I think they should make it, and all avenues and aspects should be equal. So if that's their choice to go to Ashran, they can choose. Please stop trying to force people to go to your shitty Ashran. If they want to be able to do arenas, the stuff that drops. I didn't get any conquest drops from any bullshit until after I was full conquest geared last season. Literally, after I was full conquest, then the gear drops started happening. Maybe I would get a ring a week after I got my ring. So what is your guys' take on this? And this is really going to be a lot towards Dark, because he does, that's what he is PvP. But I really feel like at this point, I understand their RNG. I understand what they're saying, but I really feel like they're so used to going in, maxing out every week, getting their gear, and going home and being happy about it.
Can I go first?
Good.
All right. So welcome to PvE life. Really.
Really? I agree with that.
Yeah. So it's you look at it this way. All the, I guess, just the people who enjoy PvP, don't like PvE, they only play WoW to PvP, but they don't push ratings. They just play and they're decent, whatever. They'll get their gear quick as shit, right? Now, they're going to have to, they'll get it over time. Same with casual PvEers. Same with casual raiders. The ones that don't sit and grind their asses off trying to get the gear, they literally just tied PvE and PvP as far as gearing goes. And that makes me really happy, because I'm tired of seeing full 660 geared people that have better stats off than I do, because at certain points the PvP gear is better than PvE gear until you can replace it.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
So
What do you think, Dark?
I don't really know what to think. I mean, I was going to say one thing, but then when he compared it to Raiders, it does make more sense, because I never actually thought of it that way.
well, and
I really can't say anything.
We've talked about this before, and when we talked about it before, and I said the same thing you said, Hots. Remember, and I'm pretty sure it was you and I and Lycan and Frieza. I'm pretty sure we said the same exact thing, and Frieza wigged out, remember? And he was like, but we don't PvE, and we shouldn't have to be forced to do PvE things. Remember, his blood pressure literally shot through the roof. That he was
this is the difference, though, is PvPers will still get their gear over time. PvEers, I've gone an entire expansion without getting a certain thing I need, and eventually, like as soon as the next raid comes out, I'll get the one I needed from the previous raid.
I agree with that.
Deathbringers will.
I think the only thing that is more irritating about the PvP aspect of it is you have the conquest points and you cap every week, as opposed to rolling on a piece of gear and being used to not winning it. So when you do win it, you're way excited, but you don't really have your hopes up. With the conquest points, like, oh, sweet, next Tuesday I'm going to cap, I'll be able to buy my weapon. Boom. You're 3 conquest points away because of the damn, the garrison. Thank you. Because of the gladiator sanctum. So the frustrations are different. Again, I can't really talk shit now that you compared it to raiding and getting gear that way. You basically shut me down.
Let me tell you how easy
completely.
Ashran is. So they took the conquest away from the side events, right?
Mhm.
Big deal. 4 events and killing what's his face?
Bull, yeah.
The horde
Yeah.
be at the gate, man, or whatever the alliance, whatever he says. So
The warlord.
you have to kill him, and you get 4 events, win 4 events, and you get 500 conquest, and it's repeatable. The second you complete it, another one pops open.
Yeah.
I literally capped out in Ashran in a few hours. There shouldn't be any complaints if you're not into arenas. I don't really dig arenas. Arenas aren't really my style. Obviously, I'm a destruction warlock. They really wouldn't be my style because I refuse to change and I refuse to go affliction. So with that being said, Ashran is where I gear. I have no problems gearing in Ashran. I actually find it quite enjoyable, assuming that you're on the winning side. If you're not on the winning side,
I
it's not
actually
enjoyable.
do have an issue with Ashran.
You always do because you don't like anything
No,
that
no.
requires work.
Bullshit. No, I was in the queue for an hour and 13 minutes last night.
That's work
right?
to you. You actually have to
No.
sit there.
And what the? Silence. No. I popped in to a 4-man group. I
Right.
waited an hour and a half to pop in with 4 other people.
Because they were building a
And-
group. Quit crying.
No, and then 20 minutes later, we get another dude. And he's like, holy shit, over an hour wait and I get popped into 5 people? Are you kidding me?
That had to be a bug because that never happens.
No.
You're literally the only player in
We
history
started
that's happened.
we started talking about it, and the one guy's all, it's been like this for me all week except for maybe 3 times.
That's awkward.
But
I was in Ashburn all
it's-
week and I didn't have that.
It's late at night, apparently it happens,
Oh.
but if we're in an hour long queue, get popped into a 4-man group that doesn't grow any more than 6 people,
I agree with that.
it's pointless to even do.
And they're adding more instances, which maybe that's the reason because they're adding different instances. Because each 40 man,
Possibly. I mean,
each
there
40 man is its own instance. You're
Right.
never
There
going to
could-
see
there
another
could be an
40
issue.
in your Ashran because it's its own instance.
I think what's happening is when someone leaves, it's not automatically replacing it, like whatever
Valid.
thing
So some
that they
things are
have
broken that
pulling.
they need to fix.
Yeah,
I do
Definitely.
have one more
And-
comment about the gearing thing, though.
I was gonna say,
Okay.
with you, instant gratification people out there that walk into a group and go, "Oh fuck this shit, I'm out of here."
That doesn't-
If you're losing and you're losing and you're losing, be patient, because they have put in that balancing technique, and I have seen that. Now, I was in there the other day. We were just running the horde all around the place, and it was sad, but it got to the point where we kept fighting up against them. We got our ass kicked, and it does seem to the balancing
Because they
is
buffed
working.
the other side that's losing. 6 hours I spent in there, and the first 2 was losing, literally getting my teeth kicked in, and then it started to turn around, and then once it was good, I'm like, nah, I'm not leaving. I'm just gonna wait until I'm full honor geared. So here's the thing. I agree. There's a lot of things that I agree with as far as this gentleman's post on the forums, where he's basically trying to rally everybody regarding the RNG. I understand that in PvP it should not be. Well, all the things that you guys are complaining about, I understand that you're culture shocked and you're used to certain things when it comes to PvP, and now all of a sudden you're kind of feeling kind of the way the PvEers do. I totally get that. Do I think it needs to be so serious that we're all going to quit WoW because you can't gear out in 3 weeks? No, I don't. I think you just need to see what Blizzard has to say about it. This gentleman that went to the forums, he did exactly what he was supposed to do. He posted a very long, very educated post, very logical, didn't insult, didn't call anybody an asshat, didn't insult anybody, literally a very logical post, and I'm sure somebody at Blizzard's going to delete it, but I mean,
This is the one problem I have with RNG and PvP. Is, granted, if I were to sit down and do my usual hotsy self and go and grind the shit out of something until I'm done with it, I would be fully conquest geared. If I did that and then go into RBGs and say it's like the 3rd or 4th week, I'm fully geared. Some people don't even have their weapons yet. I'm face rolling and I'm gonna win
agreed.
every time. That's the only issue with RNG in PvP, is gear literally gives someone a step up.
I enjoy the transition when not everybody's geared. I enjoy that thumbing around through the different aspects, whether it's arenas or it's RBGs or even battlegrounds. I enjoy that when there's a mix match where some are better than others, and it's one of those where if you're only honor geared and you know somebody maybe had some better luck, with RNG and got a few extra PvP pieces or conquest pieces that they're probably going to sit on your face the entire match. But I kind of enjoy that, the Russian roulette, when you enter into something that's random and you don't really know what you're going to get on the other end because we're not all equal. It's not 2 months into a season and we're all max. So I don't know. That's kind of fun for me. Once everybody's maxed out, it kind of loses its value. I'm not a pusher. Well, I mean, I am a pusher. I push people, in case you guys didn't know. No, I'm not a push to glad status type of gal. So I'm imagining that once those guys get maxed out, that's their whole thing. So for me, because I'm not a push, it gets boring to me once everybody's full geared and I have 15,000 conquest points I can't even use. And I kind of enjoy not everybody being geared and some being geared and some not, and that.
Well, it is annoying getting capped in 2 hours. Like, what the hell are you gonna do the rest of the week?
We were capped before we even stepped into RBGs.
Yeah. Like, aside from that, I mean, I love doing arenas, not just for the conquests or whatever. Just...
He's the guild carrier. He carries everybody except me or Nate. Or Lycan, I mean. He doesn't carry either.
No.
He'll carry everybody else.
He asked on an off week where I just carried 4 other
don't
people.
Feel bad. The wife can't even get a carry. I mean, literally, he can't get nothing. He literally carries everybody, but I can't get a carry.
Doesn't even carry her to the bedroom.
No, he doesn't even. No, I'm lucky he even goes to bed when I do.
That's because she's on Pwnecast shit all day. So, you know.
I resent that. So
she's a very
that's what I wanted to talk about for Bell's Bites, and I'm gonna actually let Lycan take it away. He's got, and I titled this on my show notes. It's so funny. It's "Where the fuck is Rathian?" is the title of his lore piece, which is not the title. But I wanted to embellish.
It's close enough.
Fries is not here, so I can say a couple extra F words without him giving me the evil eye. So
Fritos.
Great. All right, so we came into 6.2, and we were promised Rathian was going to be in this expansion. And Bell's completely right. Where the fuck is Rathian? We sit there and we're looking for him. I know it sounds like I'm beating a dead horse about this, but with everything that we learned about in the past, with the power that he was supposed to get, and he saw. As one point, I think I was talking to Dark about this. He goes up onto the mountaintop during one of the
That's that creepy
legendary
moment.
quests.
Yeah, where I thought he was going to kill me secretly because he was way too... Here, come up here, little girl. Here's some candy.
Right, and then he's showing you all these different things, and he's saying all these powers and all these different worlds. He was supposed to play this big part in Warlords of Draenor. He is really, other than showing up in an obscure journal that you really have to search for because there's nothing telling you where this journal's at, that we found in Admiral Taylor's garrison. Now, there is something that came across during the Tanan jungle stuff and I was looking at, and it's an obscure little quest. And I think most people actually picked it up because it actually sends you out to a place called the Vault of the Earth and allows you to pick up a flight path there. So you get this quest, and it's called a message of terrible import. Now, what I come across is I didn't even read the quest text. I was in a hurry. Turned the quest in. Didn't even see a follow-up quest, which I kind of thought was odd because usually that's what I'm waiting for. Nothing there, and I just went on my merry way. And then I kept coming back to this place again and again. And it's actually ran by a bunch of group called... forgive me, I don't have the actual name up here. There's a guy there by the name of Lagar the Wise. And what he does is he's a part of... Guardian of the Vault. And he stands in front of a cave with this big firewall standing in front of it. When you pick up the quest reads this. It says, "Your scout. He got me out of this hellish place. Fell orcs surprised us out of the jungle and dragged us up the mountain. They tortured us, killed all but me." Here's where it gets interesting with it. It says, "I fear one of us may have given up our secret before the end." And he sends you out to find his Lagar the Wise to turn us in. And you're like, okay, so you go ahead and pick us up, go out to this vault, and as you drop off the quest, all he looks at you and says, before you go, I says, "I'm sorry." He says, "I must ask you to go to our the home of our order, speak with Lagar, my leader, and tell him Gul'dan knows." And that's all that's said on it. When you turn the quest in, he goes, "We'll speak more of this later, thank you." Is the only quest line that they give from you. No follow-up quest. There's no lore on the Guardians of the Vault. There's nothing. The only thing you have is a firewall in front of a cave You have water elementals and wind elementals running around, but nothing else. So my question is, go ahead.
Okay, so the cinematic you watch for the legendary,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't know if that's a spoiler for for people with Gul'dan and Kilrog. Is that a spoiler?
Should be by now.
Shouldn't be a spoiler, I'm assuming, because I mean, I was on the late train with my legendary, so I was lazy in truth. So Gul'dan goes to Grommosh and says, "Here, drink this shit." And Grommosh is like, "I'm seriously tired of you putting this stuff in my face. I don't want to drink your nasty green stuff." And Gul'dan, all these things he says, then here comes Deadeye. He's ready to drink. He's down to take shots. And then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't it be no eye, not dead eye?
It is kind of weird that it's Deadeye and not no eye or one eye. I don't.
Right.
Yeah,
It's not like dangling there or nothing.
No, it's not dangling. So, what is has that cinematic or that point in time already happened?
Yes.
In what you're talking about. So that situation's already happened. Then we phase back to what we know about the end of Hellfire, which we can't talk about.
Correct.
But we know what it is. Man, I have so many theories and we can't give any spoilers away.
But that has not happened.
So what leads you think that the secret involves Rathian?
A couple things. First of all, the name of the title of the place you're at is called the Vault of the Earth. And as we all know, that he is part of the Black Dragon.
If we were to fight Rathian, if Rathian were to be a boss in, say, the next expansion, we would fight him in dragon form, correct?
Most likely, yes. Well, not necessarily, because we when we did Nefarian,
he's really not a scary.
He's a whelpling.
But he's not a scary human. I don't really. I mean, he's not really scary. He looks kind of like a little prissy, so I don't really know.
In Blackrock Mountain, when we faced Nefarian, we fought him originally as a human, and then he transformed halfway through the fight into dragon form. And that's with he had a bunch of mechanics.
So the people that were dragged, what is that clan you said it was?
These were actually called the Guardians of the Vault.
The Guardians of the Vault.
Right.
They had a secret. The Fel Orcs tortured them. Now Gul'dan knows their secret.
Correct.
One of them's a crossdresser.
Here's a problem too, though. Because what we know about the Archimonde fight technically hasn't happened. Because the way the lore works with any type of raids, that does not actually officially, quote-unquote, occur in the game.
Until you've progressed all the way through Tanan and then Hellfire is the final.
Right, and you've actually moved on to the next patch. So when we beat Garros in Siege of Orgrimmar, you could still go back to Orgrimmar and see Garros standing there.
So what could Gul'dan have learned that would spark the situation that happens at the end of Hellfire?
Right.
Right?
Exactly. And
what
we're
did
sitting
he
here,
do?
Yeah, and we're sitting here looking at this Vault of the Earth. We see the we see wind and water elementals, but no earth elementals. Being that he's part of the Black Dragon flight, Deathwing was the Earth Warder. He was the Earth aspect. Who's not to say he could come over to Draenor, which we know he did, and he's able to go ahead and coerce the elements in there.
Blew up Admiral Taylor's garrison. We know that Rathian was supposed to come with ship supplies and medical and some other stuff, and then all of a sudden, everything's decimated.
And when he left, he took half the garrison with him. I've been all
like he
over.
drug it. What do you mean he took half the garrison?
like the followers.
Oh, the people. I was like, wait. He just was like, hey, I'm taking your inn.
Did they pull in a freaking what's that place called?
I'm taking your inn.
I'm gonna need your outhouse.
I know, right? I'm gonna take your inn and your outhouse so you can have the flight master and this other bullshit over here. I'm taking your inn. That's funny.
And when he walked away, though, he said, basically said, if you either follow me or you're gonna die. And that's how half the garrisons are dead, and the rest of them are out with Rathian somewhere. And I was actually speaking to Nagus, and Grand Nagus is, if you don't know him, he's a great lore person. And we were talking about this. Why wouldn't Rathian actually let himself get caught?
Why would he?
Why wouldn't he? He did it with Admiral Taylor's garrison. He walked into the garrison going, I'm here, and they basically kept a watchful eye. And what happened to him? Wiped out the garrison and took half the people with him. He does this thing. He's very manipulative. He does not do things without a reason.
And it's likely that he's already not. It's highly likely that since the Admiral Taylor situation, that he might not even be in Draenor anymore.
Correct.
Well, when we were talking last night, you said Rathian can see into alternate universes and time, right?
Well, yes, during that time where we started gathering all that Titan stuff for him, and for the legendary quest line, he did that. He was able to see. He was basically had all the timelines laid out in front of him. He had all these quote unquote worlds with this unforeseen power was laid out in front of him, and he knew exactly. We had to come back to this Draenor. It could not have been another Draenor 30 years at the same time. There is a reason that Rathian brought us back to this particular Draenor. And that's why I'm saying he's not right. There's no way he can write him. They're going to be able to write him out of this lore without
Agreed.
all the lore nerds going absolutely crazy. I mean, people are still all up in arms with Trowel
He
and
was such a
Illyria.
huge part of last expansion to not introduce him in any serious fashion, which it's
Right.
not uncommon for, somebody to not appear for a whole expansion. I guess that's not uncommon. But to completely write him out, I still feel very strongly that he's the guy pulling the strings. I have a feeling, and I almost blew the freaking spoiler. I have a theory.
How does this kangaroo at you?
I have a theory for those of you that have watched the final cinematic for Hellfire. I have a feeling that the thing that they were talking about was directly linked to Rathian.
Absolutely.
That's my, I really 150% believe that. I could be totally wrong. I'm not really, the only lore I know is what he teaches me and what cinematics I watch. So,
For those who really have not looked into it, Siege of Orgrimmar and the previous expansion, Mist of Pandaria, had nothing to do with Garrosh.
agreed.
It was all about Rathian. What happened to him at the beginning, because we
Mhm.
started in Cataclysm, brought it through Mists.
I
We are
agree.
now here at this Draenor for some reason.
Doing what? The freaking hokey pokey? Because he's not even here. You brought us here. You gave us this beautiful cloak, which was garbage 2 weeks into the new expansion. Thanks. You're awesome.
About, like 3 days from here, but
Yeah.
I really wish I could go into this, but there's a very big spoiler if I do, and
I know.
will
It's.
talk to you after the thing. I can get Hotz's headset off of him.
Because I'm struggling. It's really difficult. I think the more people start going through Hellfire, then we can start talking about what we know.
Let me just put it this way without spoiling anything. I think somebody else was looking for Rathian too.
Oh, I'm sure.
And
I'm
that
sure.
That might explain the last sentence of that thing. That somebody else is looking for Rathian too for a reason.
Like perhaps they both, right?
Right.
Maybe. I got you.
So
you.
for
For those of you who know what we're talking about,
Right.
we got you.
somebody else might
there
be
you.
and imagine
That makes a lot
what
of
could be
sense.
done with Rathian.
That makes a lot of sense. So
So,
many
I
things. Cody, our Hots, you really need to go through that, and you need to know the goings on with that final boss situation, because when he said that, that literally blew my mind.
Like if you have actually watched that final cinematic and you know the dialogue that occurs, imagine things
World's
could be done
biggest
with Rathian.
cliffhanger ever for it to be the final raid. Literally, it's like the world's biggest cliffhanger.
So it'd be neat to see what's going to go on with this Vault of the Earth. That's why I'm kind of hopeful that we're going to have maybe a mini raid or something that's going to go on at this Vault of the Earth.
We can start talking about this when the last wing of LFR is released. Once the last wing of LFR is released and everybody's had a
After
chance to
a
see
week.
that. So
After a week it's been out.
yeah, once everybody's been out and been able to progress through and do that final boss and they can see it, then we can really kind of hammer out the details of what we think's going on. But I'm pretty excited just for the lore itself. The story wasn't something that used to interest me. I was just, if I learned something along the way, but I definitely have gotten into it a lot more. So how about you guys comment on the video? Tell us, I mean, we've already talked about Rathian quite a bit, but tell us what you think if you in regards to the ending cinematic, without giving anything away to the people that are looking at the comments, but tell us, give us your take on where you think everything is being led and what do you guys think about it?
Speaking of lore being big, dare I mentioned Emerald Dream?
For what?
No.
Next expansion?
No. I'm just saying how they didn't do it. They were
No.
supposed to do an entire expansion around Emerald Dream. And
To be honest with you, I think that's in the works. I think it's not going to be the next one, but
They already said it's over.
not necessarily.
So
Not necessarily.
Reopen it, but
we are overtime.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna.
Time.
Oh yeah, we're overtime.
You're overtime.
Why? I mean, I probably am.
Your mom's overtime.
That's a good comeback. This is why we don't do the show at 2:00 in the morning, because half of us aren't even awake. But the good news is we have no noise in this house right now because everybody's asleep. So we are going to go ahead and wrap it up. We're going to skip the week in WoW this week. We all did the same bullshit in WoW. We geared for PvP. That's what we all did this week.
An RPG.
Yeah, we did RBGs and we won, we lost, we did a bunch of fun things. So, to Friza, I know you're watching this. Get your shit together. We will see you next episode. Same thing with Bloke. I don't know where you're at or if we're even alive, but we're here for you.
Oh, Friza got a new real life mount.
He did get a new real life mount. Yay, kudos for him. It's a chick car, but it looks awesome. It looks awesome. That's not even talking crap because I would totally drive it. It's a good car. We love it. Also, we have been streaming for a week. We had a few technical issues. We're getting there, people. It's in the works. We're fixing everything. This next week should go pretty smoothly. Thank you for those of you who have come to show your support and continue. This whole next week, we're going to be doing tons of giveaways. So make sure you stop by. The stream is daily or every evening. So make sure.
We have the world's worst cheerleaders over here.
My teenagers are in the hallway doing some weird. I don't even know. If this wasn't, so many people didn't watch this, I would have flipped the camera around. They're doing some weirdness in the hallway. So make sure you guys come check us out this week on the stream. We all stream on a different night, and we're going to be doing tons of giveaway stuff. Both World of Warcraft giveaway stuff. We're going to see about giving away some Steam game codes and stuff like that. Also, very, very excited. Me and admin Ella's husband, Chris, who is our resident IT, we have been working on a total revamp of the PwnCastDailyQuest.com, including complete 100% mobile responsive. So be excited now, all you mobile dwellers who have been emailing me every day for the last 3 months asking for mobile. It's happening. My goal is to have this launched hopefully Monday or Tuesday is my goal. We're going to be working on it tomorrow and on Monday as well. So make sure you guys continue checking that out. We're really stepping up our game here. I've shared the site design with a few individuals, and it's pretty slick. Me and Chris are a gnarly team together. So
I dig it.
make sure you guys keep a watch out for that, and it is going to be good for mobile phones, so you guys can be able to do all the things mobily. If you need to get a hold of Lycan, you can get a hold of him at lycan@pwncast.net. You can also find him whoring around about on the Facebook page or pet battling in some random Miss Pandaria jungle or wherever. Panda place.
The deserted island.
You know, the Wandering Isle or something. If you need to get a hold of HOTS, he also streams twitch.tv/HOTS4Shots. Everything is HOTS for Shots for him. He's really ridiculously easy. That's what she said.
I've heard.
That one.
We promise next time he's on the show, he's going to have his hair washed. And I mean, cut, because it's not the Beatles, man.
War man.
And Dark, you can find him in any arena at any given day. He's also on Twitter, Dark Nadoret. He also has his own personal stream, and he also streams for Pwnecast as well. I don't know why we let him stream, but he does bring something good to the table because he does a lot of carries for the guild for arenas. And this, I can't deal. It's not even the end of the show, and the weirdness is already happening.
I heard Dark's doing the boss, so you know.
I don't know what that even means.
That might have something to do with how he got on the stream.
He says I'm here only because my face.
Now, and the funny thing is, everybody is assuming you mean me, but actually, I'm not the one that's in charge of the stream. Hots for Shots is the boss. So that's where it got really awkward. Which, hey, well, I'm so down for.
Them?
Here's the thing: I'm so down for Pwnecast. I don't even care. Whatever gets shit done. So.
That's free zone.
We don't even have to. He doesn't even have to use blessing and protection. He can just lay on hands.
We're never gonna get through a week without offending somebody in some form or fashion.
There's our LBGT group.
there goes everybody that ever watches us ever. So I'm going to get on out of here, and we are going to actually go to bed. The action figures have already started coming out, which is kind of weird. That was in Loot Crate. That's awesome. Thank you guys for spending your hour with us every week. We really, really appreciate it because we know that there's so many other things you could be doing besides dealing with our bullshit. So we appreciate it. We're going to get on out of here. Bye, guys. Do you even have one too?
Me?
Oh, I thought he had one. My children are in here being dirty.
All I had was a pen. So
They're being dirty little hamsters doing some weird dance. I don't even know what's